I'm so excited.
Hello, everyone. Thank y'all for joining Christy and I today. So happy to see y'all out in the Book of Faces land. Please, if you have any questions, pop them in our chat. We love to get live questions. We do have some to go through. But now that we've been live a few times, I'm sure everyone has the way it flows, and surely no one is shy or afraid to ask us questions.
Yes.
So how are you doing, Miss Christy?
I am doing very well. I just came back from a weekend in Kansas City and attended a workshop, so that was very fun.
Now, what was the workshop on?
Well, I'm not going to say just because the workshop was really bad, but what I learned from it, which I think is important for everybody to know, is that sometimes you learn more what you don't want and what doesn't serve you rather than getting so excited. And that's exactly what this workshop was. It's like, okay, I know exactly what I don't want. And so that was worth every dime of it too, and still had a wonderful experience.
Now, did you go with someone or were you by yourself?
I went with my friend Angie, who's also a psychic medium.
Okay, very good. And did Angie kind of feel the same way about it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I have noticed that there are a lot of, the spiritual world is now kind of exploding, and there's so many people wanting to put on workshops and do this and do that. And they can be great at marketing, but it needs to have some meat to it. It needs to,
Yeah.
And I've just noticed that I've had to start being very careful about how experienced are the people putting it on.
Yeah.
Because, after you've taken a couple of them, you're no longer in kindergarten mode. Now you need like some collegiate level type workshops.
Yeah. And this felt actually quite fraudulent to me, is that they didn't come from integrity.
You know what? This is not even on our list, but let's discuss that a moment. Discernment.
Okay.
Discernment, right?
Yes.
So your whole body was screaming while you're in there.
I was in there for 30 seconds and I knew it was fraudulent and just a big scam.
I love that. I mean, I don't love that it was fraudulent and a big scam, but I love that your intuition was instantly telling you, no.
Yeah. But you and I have talked about this before in our business. When people come to us, they are willing to be vulnerable and really open themselves up. Our responsibility is to treat them with integrity. We do all of our work with morals and ethics, and we come from integrity. And if you can't do that, you shouldn't be in business.
Agreed. Absolutely. You're always at work for spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And, our job is to get ourselves out of the way. And there are a lot of talented psychic mediums out there, but I don't care how talented you are. I don't want you reading me unless you are coming from a place of love.
Yes.
And something I was teaching to my, and you said this when we first got on here, you just used different words, but I was teaching this. It wasn't even one of my workshops I was teaching, but it had come up in a reading where I was reading a group of people and they'd asked me a question. I said, sometimes when people give you wrong information, that is as helpful if they're giving you a full-blown positive reading.
Yes.
Because when someone is saying something to you and your whole body is screaming, no, don't listen. Listen to your body. I mean, you also need to sit with the information. And once you're used to reading that kind of information, it makes sense. Because also you want to have an open mind and saying, okay, is this person being truthful? And is it just something I don't want to hear?
Yeah.
Because that can happen.
Sometimes it can be hard to discern.
Right. Or is this just absolutely not true? And so I'm going to tell people how I know it. And I want everyone to get used to reading information for themselves, because Christy will tell you also that you have to honor your own gifts, and we all get information differently.
Yes.
It doesn't mean we're not getting the same information. It just might be presented differently.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever something comes at me and I know it's wrong, I will feel myself almost pulling away from the person or the screen. I'm trying to remove myself, and I do it as a reflex.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I'll feel myself moving. I was like, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. There's my don't take that on.
Yeah, exactly. And you get to the point where because trust is such a huge thing, and trusting in yourself is the most important thing. And why are you reacting the way you're reacting? There's a reason for it, and listen and pay attention. But you're absolutely right. You can learn more sometimes by wrong information. And
Yeah.
that's what this, I mean, I'm taking notes during this whole thing, and the notes, when looking back, they're hysterical actually, because I'm like, what?
You should make I know you write all these books. You should make a comedic book about this.
Good. That's a great idea.
Things to not believe. We laugh, but it's so true, right?
It is true.
Okay, so real quick, if anyone is out there in the land of Facebook, please, I'm gonna put the chat where you can see it, Christy. No one's chatted yet, so you're not gonna be able to see them yet. But if y'all are there, please ask us questions. Say hello. We'd like to know that you're out there joining us and we're not just here all by ourselves. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, this is an excellent one. I do not like when people say they look into my soul without asking permission, especially when I know I am highly Gretchen, I love this.
Yeah.
Yes, I love this. I seriously doubt that it happened. It makes me, oh my gosh, Gretchen. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. This could be like a whole thing. Thank you for putting that out there.
Gretchen, on another similar to this, there are other psychic mediums that walk up to people and say, well, your mom's here with a message for you. And to me, that is such an invasion of privacy. And that's exactly what you're talking about. And I will never, ever do that unless someone asks me specifically. They're sitting across from me and specifically want to know, then I'll give them all the messages that I get. But I will never, ever walk up to a stranger, and nobody should ever walk up to you and say they see your soul without your permission. It's an invasion of privacy.
Also, I love what she said whenever, Gretchen, I think you're so right on this when she said, I know I'm highly protected, so I seriously doubt it happened. I have experienced this so many times where people will say, like, they haven't had permission to read me. I am also highly protected. And the information they're getting is so inaccurate. But they think that they're reading you. So I think you're right, Gretchen. I very much doubt that it happened. Yeah, someone says, Jeff Vent says, hi, Christy. I saw you channel at the Omaha
Yes.
Holistic Expo. I was going to look into that and I forgot to. Has it already happened?
Oh, this was actually almost 2 years ago. With Angie Panisi's expo, and it doesn't exist anymore. So thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I channel an extraterrestrial named Dromedary, and he gives such loving messages to people, and it's in a language modern humans can understand. Yes. It's not talking in circles. It's not, just crazy woo-woo stuff that people are like, what did they just say? What did he say? And so I hope you enjoyed it. I assumed when you said you saw me channel that I went right there that you liked what you experienced.
I did get that feeling that you liked it.
Thank you for being there.
I want to say hi to Zoe and Lisa also. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. Lisa put on here. Okay. I was wondering if my mom ever comes to visit me. Our spirits always are around us. And sometimes I have found that when people think that their spirits aren't around them, it's because it's like the air we breathe. We become so used to them being around us, we don't notice it. Mm-hmm. Now, some things I will tell you to look for, Lisa, is yes, look for all the normal things that spirit sends you, blinking lights, cardinals, all of the things. How do you know it's from your mom? Let's just say you're walking into the kitchen, all of a sudden the light flickers, and then you think about your mom. What are you thinking about when that happens? Now, something I will tell y'all also, that if you or your spirit loves something a lot, let's just say your mom loved music or your mom loved the TV, whatever she loved, that's what she's going to use to get through to you because it's already that connection.
May I share a little story that just happened to me a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, I'd love to hear it.
My best friend passed away almost a year ago. We're coming up on her 1-year anniversary right now. And one of the last vacations we took together, I said, I want to collect feathers. And we were on a beach and I collected a ton of feathers. So the day she died, I have a vase of those feathers that she and I had collected. And the day she died, I was kind of dusting and I said, you know what, Marina? I said, you need to send me a feather. And to shorten the story a little bit, she sent me about 1,000,000 feathers that day. I was guided through a friend to go to the aviary at Bellevue at the forest in Bellevue, Fontenelle Forest. And I didn't even know there was an aviary there, and it's all rescued birds.
Yeah,
And it
that's
was
right
so
around the corner
beautiful.
from my house.
Yeah. And so a couple of weeks ago, I'm switching my wardrobe into shorter sleeves for the upcoming spring. And I put on this top that had been packed away all winter long. And there was like a white thread right here in the top. And I picked and picked at it and it wouldn't come. I said, it's never been there before. So I went and got a tweezer and I went like this and pulled out a feather. And she had woven that in my shirt that had been packed away.
I
And
love spirit. I just freaking love spirit. Yeah.
I just looked at him like, you are so good. Oh my goodness. So they will show up in the most interesting ways.
She was like when I first met Christy, I'm sure y'all have heard this story, but I contacted her that day. She came through, didn't she?
Yes.
Yes, because the spirit, when as you're talking, the spirit jumps up. I was like, you feel so familiar. And she took me to that moment.
Yes. And she was very OCD and had to control everything. And so
Yes,
when she
yes, yes.
passed, I just said, you can go rearrange heaven now to your, your exacting standards. And she came through to you and you're like, well, I've got somebody here. And it's like, oh, this has to be here. And this has to be here. And this has to be
Oh,
here.
did I say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew exactly that it
Yes.
was her coming through to you.
I am very big on personalities. And so whenever bringing the spirit's personalities through, let's see, Jeff says, whenever Christy and I do these, we are doing them to ask spiritual questions. If you want to know the names of your guides and what they do for you, you'll have to make a one-on-one appointment with Christy or me, either one of us, and we'll be glad to help you through that. And there's a couple of ways that we can do that. I know that the way I work, I think Christy works about the same way, is we can just read you or we can take you through a regression where you contact those people yourself. It's like a guided meditation or hypnotherapy, whatever words you want to put on it. Is that how you do it also, Christy?
Yeah, and because there are a lot of psychics that say, here are your guides, here are their names, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
But I like to guide you through it so you actually get that information yourself. What can you call them? Because they've had 1,000,000 names, they've had so many lifetimes. What can you call them and what's their main purpose for being your guide in this lifetime? And what you're learning is not only that information, but you're also learning what it feels like to connect to your guides. It's like, oh, they're going to come through with pictures. Oh, they're going to come through with sound. Oh, they're going to come through with a knowing. And it's your real good first connection with how they're going to communicate with you.
That is, I actually had someone yesterday in one of my appointments ask me about that. And I took them through the meditation to meet them. And I was asking, they said, yes, they acknowledged that they had contacted them. I said, okay, we're going to sit with them for a moment so you can understand how they feel. Because you want to know, make sure that you understand that feeling so you can recognize it when they're around.
Yes.
Julie Starkey said, I had a name, Monica, come to me in the middle of the night not too long ago, and now can't get the name of it out of my mind. What would cause that? I meant to ask on the Divine Collective Meetup. For one thing, the Divine Collective Meetup is a group that I have that meets 3 times a month. You pay a subscription for it, and we meet 3 times a month. One time we read cards. Last night was our group reading, and then we have a workshop. So that's what she was talking about. She meant to ask, because those types of questions I do ask and answer in the Divine Collective. It's a much smaller group. So the next time we meet up, Miss Julie, ask that question and I'll certainly delve into it. It's a lot to get into here on the live, but please ask in the next Divine Collective and I will answer that. Ashley says, I had a session with Christy, the K Christy, not this Christy, a long time ago and loved it. I need to book another one.
Thank you, Ashley.
Right. You need to book a refresher one with her.
Yes, absolutely do it. And I've gone high tech now, so you can actually book online at my website, christypeterson.com. And you can just book a session from there. It's really easy. So thank you, Ashley, for your kind words. I appreciate it.
I am all about that, I was just talking to someone the other day. This weekend, this is something I have going on. It's free, but it's this weekend at 10 o'clock. You do have to register on my site. Me and then another person who is techie. Like I'm going to read businesses psychically and she is techie and going to tell people how to actually implement that. And whenever I started being a psychic medium, all I wanted to do was just really run my business. I do have a master's in business. But I really didn't want to have to do all the techie stuff. I just wanted to talk to my people.
Yeah.
Nope.
And you are so high tech compared to me. It's just, I'm in awe sometimes.
No. So yeah, no, Christy and I, when we do something together, I love that we can laugh at each other because we're fumbling through, because we're asking about questions. And she said, well, we didn't finish that one list. I was like, really? Can you send me that list? Because I don't have that list. And so we're looking around. I was like, just take a picture of it and send it to me. That's how techie we are. It just I worked many years with Christy, and she has helped me in so many ways. Love her and her work.
Oh, thank you,
That's so
Camille. You're so
sweet.
sweet. I love you to pieces. Mwah.
Hi, Miss Linda. Thank you for joining me or us. Hi, Cheryl. You haven't seen me in a long time. I don't know. I feel like I'm out and about all the time. Christy and I go live the second Tuesday of every month, so you can certainly catch us here. I go live on TikTok off and on. I don't have a set schedule because I just kind of squeeze it in when I can. But I was live twice this week.
You are such an influence that I am doing TikTok twice a week now because of you.
Yay! Get out there in TikTok land.
Yes, you can follow me on TikTok, and it's Christy Peterson Psychic Medium.
Very good. So y'all go out there, just search her on TikTok and click that follow button. You can also Christy Godwin Psychic Medium. If you don't follow me on TikTok, follow me out there. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. I had a session with Christy a few years ago and ran across this live. Very good. So that's what we call a synchronicity.
Yes.
Like you probably had a session with Christy and you hadn't really thought a lot about it, and now all of a sudden you came across the live. So that is what I call a spirit synchronicity, saying, hey, get back into this journey, book an appointment with Christy, continue. Something in your spiritual world is speaking to you, Miss Tracy. I would tune into that.
Yes.
Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. If y'all have any spiritual questions, not specific like, your grandmother coming through or something, but if you have a spiritual question, then please ask. Cheryl just asked, can you tell me if my husband agrees with financial decision I am making right now? This is another one of those very specific questions. If you want to answer it specifically, either catch one of us on a live on TikTok or, I don't know, Christy, we're getting so many of these. Maybe we should start changing this up sometimes, not today, but just answering people's questions. Also, I want everyone to think about how they can answer questions on their own. Okay, so Cheryl is, it's hard when you have what I call a lot of skin in the game because you're going to have a lot of emotions about it, right? So Cheryl wants to know, is my husband agreeing with the financial decision I'm making? You sit with it and think about how you're feeling about it. Mm-hmm. Do you get fear? Fear isn't the answer. A lot of times people mistake fear for a no. You need to get fear out of the equation because fear is not an emotion that's going to answer one of your questions, because a lot of times we are called out and to step into fear. Fear is just something that is different and unusual, and we haven't experienced it before. You want to sit with, how do I feel in my solar plexus? How do I feel in like my core and my heart area? Is it just trepidation, but I feel like I need to go in that direction? Then your answer is yes. If it is, no, nothing feels right about this, you feel yourself kind of moving away from it, then that's your answer.
And there are other tools you can use as well, and muscle testing is kind of a big one.
My pendulum.
Yeah, your pendulum would be great. With muscle testing, you put your fingers together like this and say, give me a yes, and mine happens to stay locked. Give me a no, they pull apart. So you can say, does he agree with my financial decisions? And if it stays, whatever your yes is or whatever your no is, and that can kind of get you past the fear as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, I was grabbed one of my pendulums.
Oh, that's pretty.
You have to set your pendulum for what your yes and no is, because mine is going to be different. Like, it could be the same as yours, but it can also be different. So you just ask, does my husband agree with my financial decisions? And instantly it started turning to my yes, which I'd already kind of felt that. All right. So if y'all have any like specific spiritual questions, please ask. If not, we're going to have Christy kick us off with what's on her list. I don't even know what's
Yes.
on her list.
One of our questions is what happens energetically during sleep and dreaming? You want to go ahead and answer that one first?
Interesting. What happens energetically during sleep and dreaming? So, most of us, the vast majority of us, are out working at night. We do not stay in our bodies. We are out just perusing the universe. Typically, we are working with some of our team. Our team will come and get us, and we will work with them. And so you will be out and about traveling through the universe, though your physical body is still here. There is always a cord, an energetic cord that attaches your ethereal body to your physical body. And I don't know if anyone here has ever experienced sleep paralysis, but that is what happens when you have sleep paralysis. Your physical body has woken up and your spiritual body is out perusing the universe, and it takes a second for it to pop back in your body. Now, sometimes people remember these journeys and sometimes they don't. If you are someone who is just like, I want to remember, I have to remember, set that intention before you go to sleep. Before you go to sleep at night, ask your team to help you remember your dreams. And here's the next part, make sure you have a tablet beside your bed. So when you wake up, you write them down. It's been proven that within 15 minutes of waking up, we forget our dreams. So make sure that you are yes, it's scary. So it can be a little bit disconcerting if you haven't experienced or you don't know what's going on when you have this sleep paralysis. Julie was like, yes, it was scary. It only takes a second, but it feels like 4 hours that you're laying there and can't move. You're like an instant, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that felt like 4 hours. What the heck happened?
So when we say we work 24/7, we really do.
You really do. Everyone does. I would venture to say that everyone that is on this live is someone who is on a spiritual journey, who is empathic and interested in helping the universe. And so I would say probably everyone on here is working.
Yeah, and our bodies need the rest, our souls really don't. And that's why we can separate from our body while it rejuvenates, recovers from the day's activities. And our soul is out there on a whole different level doing its work.
Julie just said my mom could remember. She thought it was awesome. It is pretty awesome, like some of the things you get to see. And I don't always remember mine. Do you remember yours all the time, Christy?
Not all the time. Mm-mm.
Me either. But I do sometimes. And there's been a couple of times that I'll remember little snippets of it. And then I will ask my team, look, can I remember tomorrow night? Because I don't like just remembering little snippets. I want to see the whole show.
And boy, sometimes the ones I do remember are so colorful and so out there. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's like a bird's eye view of the Pleiades I've had sometimes.
Yeah.
And touching distance to the moon. And while we're out there, and it's like a snapshot. And that's what they'll allow me to remember the next day. And it's like, oh, I want to go back. I want to go back. It's so
right.
beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
Are we ready for the next question?
We are.
How do you know if you're experiencing a spiritual awakening or a mental health challenge?
Do you want to kick us off on this one, Christy?
Sometimes you can't tell. To me, the big difference is if it's a mental health challenge, a lot of times that has a negative energy or a negative feel to it. Where spiritual awakening, it can be a little bit scary sometimes, depending on what happens. But if you sit with it and then start asking questions, why am I supposed to know this? Why are you showing me this? You'll get more clarity on it. And it's always positive. It is always for the evolution of your soul. And mental health, typically, it can be very muddled. And to me, it almost always has some kind of a negative connotation to it.
I agree 1,000%. I always tell people that spirits will never tell you to hurt yourself or someone else. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think that sometimes when you're on the spiritual path, there's a saying that I don't really care for, but it's out in the spiritual community. People probably know what I'm talking about. They call it the dark night of the soul. I think it is a time for meditation, a time for quietness, a time to get to know yourself. And what is really happening is that you are kind of evolving, but the people around you aren't. So you're kind of leaving the people that used to be around you, but you haven't replaced that friend circle yet. And so it's a great time to get to know yourself, to find a spiritual teacher, find a mentor, always, but use discernment. Don't just think that someone else is going to have all the answers for you. Find someone who's going to help lead you. I know Christy and I are both very big on that. We are going to help lead you and help you figure out how to find the answers on your own. Well, I could just give you some answers sometimes, of course, if you just need some specific answers. But after that, then we'll start showing you how do you discern this for yourself? How do you find the answers for yourself so that you are empowered in your walk instead of feeling like every time you have a problem, you have to reach out to a mentor or a psychic medium.
My mission on this planet is to help everyone else step into their own power. And just
Absolutely.
exactly what Christy said, yes, I can give you direct, exact answers, but following that up, it's like, here's how it came to me. Let's see if you can get a similar response and how does it show up for you? Because it's different for everybody. But my job also is to work myself out of a job because
Absolutely.
everybody else has stepped into their own power and they can do it on their own. But you do need teachers, guides, mentors, and it's finding the right one that's a good match for you.
I do a lot in my when I'm teaching of have people do a circle and say how they got the information they got, because it's amazing how the same information can come to everyone differently. And it's because we all have different personalities and we all have different walks in
Mhm.
this planet. So I was just telling someone, oh, I had to go to the doctor this morning, and she was talking about she loved my cologne. And I said, yes, that's the smell my grandbaby is going to smell whenever she comes to a psychic medium and I've transitioned. And she said, I was just drinking some grape juice this morning and it made me think of my grandmother.
Oh,
I was like, absolutely. That's the way they're going to get to you. But let's just say that her grandmother had given her this grape juice and it reminded her of her grandmother. That same grandmother would come to the lady who was working on me, her sister, in a different way, because they have different memory banks of that grandmother.
yes.
I remember the first time early on, I'd only been in business, I don't know, 6 months or a year or whatever. And I was doing a house party, which I still do, but I had gone to someone's, and I didn't know anything about these people except the one person that had set it up. And there was a bunch of young people. I know they were in their 20s, 30s. To me, that's young. And every one of them, I was like, what is going on that everyone here has lost their dad? Their dad because every single person, it was like a completely different dad. Well, at the end, after like reading 4 people, and the 4th time, this spirit that was presenting differently to everyone, he told me I'm the same one. I looked at that person. I was like, this, y'all are all brothers and sisters. And he looked at me shocked and he said, we didn't want to tell you because, they're afraid we're going to use that information.
Yeah.
But because all of these people had different relationships with their dad, he presented completely different with each person because that's how they were going to recognize him.
I love that.
So it's all about your connection with the spirit and how you receive information.
I mean, think about it. If you have siblings and you go through an identical on earth situation, you will interpret it completely differently because it comes from your own experiences, your own personality, and how you see and process things. And it's no different in the spiritual world.
The other day we've been talking about moving, right? And so we had gone to San Antonio to look at some houses. Have a friend who lives in San Antonio, and I was on the phone with her. She's like, you're thinking about moving? Don't you have some good friends in Omaha? I do. No, like really good friends. So she spent 5 minutes going over how great my friends were here. Ride or die. They're this. Duh, duh. Yes, yes, yes. A couple of days later, I was talking to someone else. Their concern was about the money and how much it costs to move. Now, the third person I was talking to that really caught on to what was happening, they were concerned just about the turmoil of moving.
Mhm.
How you have to go through all your junk. You have to pack it up, all of that. And when I was laughing, I was like, isn't that funny that the bias came through with each person and what they were concerned about?
Mhm.
And that's how we perceive all information
Yeah.
that comes in, is what biases do we have? The first person must have problems. keeping good friends because that was her concern.
Mhm.
Next person must have had financial problems at some point. That was her concern. Next person, they were concerned about the unorganization of moving. I just thought it
How
was
much of it had to do with you? None of it.
absolutely. Isn't that the truth? Thank you for pointing that out, Christy. So think about that. People, when someone comes back at you with information, typically it has nothing to do with me because none of that was my concern.
Yeah, similar but different. I had a young gal come in and talk to me. She goes, I really want to move to Los Angeles. I want to be in the music business. And I said, well, what do you do for a living here? She goes, well, I'm a server in a restaurant. And I said, well, why haven't you gone? She goes, well, my mom and my aunts are telling me that it's so scary out there and I'll fail and I'll do this and I'll do that. And so it's kept her here. And I said, you know what? When I was your age, I packed up everything I owned and I moved to California. And I did very well. You know, I ended up here for very different reasons. I said, so do you really want to listen to people who are scared to death and have never done it? Or do you want to listen to somebody who did it and survived and flourished? And you could see something twitch in her head that she'd never thought about that. It was more that she was defying the people who loved her and cared about her, which is true. They do love and care about her, but they were actually coming from their own fear and what you said, their own bias.
Right.
You want to go. You're a server. You can get a job anywhere in Los Angeles as a good server.
Absolutely. Around every corner is a restaurant or a bar or something.
Yeah, while you work your way into the music business. And I haven't heard from her, so I don't know whether she did it or if she's listening.
I hope she did it.
I
I
hope
hope so.
too. Yeah.
Elizabeth just asked, how do we know it's our spirit and not our imagination?
That's really a great question because when I work with people, I said, now trust the first thing that lands in your head because you're going to think you made it up because it was too easy. It landed too quickly, too easy, and that I must be wrong, and you push it away. So its trust is so huge in this, whether it's spirit and your imagination. Again, spirit is always positive or neutral or positive.
Yeah.
Your imagination can be all over the place. But the longer you think about it, the more it's you and your imagination.
Yes.
The first thing that lands, the first thing that pops, even if it feels illogical, it feels wrong, that's spirit talking to you.
I always talk about, we tend to make up Hollywood dramas in our head. And so you want to catch it before it turns into a Hollywood drama. And, there are ways to do this. It is a lifelong journey to make sure you're discerning spirit and you're getting your ego out of the way. Meditation is huge, or sitting with yourself. People think that meditation is, meditation can come in many different ways. Even if there's a hobby you love. I was watching one of my kids the other day, and one of my adult children put together a puzzle. They were in total meditation. Like, because that concentration of them putting those pieces in, it was getting their brain out of the way. If there's something you love doing, working in the yard, sewing, puzzles, cooking, for me, a lot of information comes when I'm on the treadmill because I'm on the treadmill so much. Walking, information will come to me. And the more you get to know yourself, the more you get to know when it's not yourself.
Yeah.
So get to know yourself really well. Christy's right. Take the first thing that drops in. And, it's funny. Last night I had a Divine Collective meeting where I was doing the group read. And I just talked to them because we do a lot of answering questions, a lot of trainings in there about how to not create this Hollywood drama, right? And then I turn, and one of the first spirits I pull up, I was like, are you kidding me? It was this kid who had died of violence. He was showing me a pew, and he was showing me how he had been pew-pewed before he died. And I was like, am I creating this Hollywood drama? Also, I'm telling this story because spirit has a sense of humor.
Yes.
People think the spirit world is just so solemn and, can't have fun. Absolutely not. This kid was totally having fun with me because I just talked at a training on how to not create this Hollywood drama. What he was showing me was completely Hollywood drama. It was true. I described him. The person took him, knew exactly who it was. But, spirits like to have a good time. It's not always, I don't think that you have to be all serious and solemn all the time to connect to the spirit world. They love joy. They love fun as much as we do.
I accuse my guides of being at the bar most of the time with what they come through. Are you kidding?
Right. Taking one too many tequila shots.
And they are funny, but what other kind of guides would I have? I mean, that's who I am. I like to find joy. I find things hilarious. Of course,
Yeah.
I'd have to have guides with crazy sense of humor.
I did a guided meditation with someone the other day, and we were walking through, and so we were tapping into her team. It was not the first time we'd done this together, and it was so funny to see the difference in her team and my team. My team is more serious. They are more. Do they have a little bit of a sense of? They do have a sense of humor, but hers was like rainbows, butterflies, balloons. That is not my personality. I'm a little bit more serious than that. But those guides totally fit her personality.
And that's why we pick each other.
Yes.
That our personalities will mesh and blend, and you'll be able to connect to them in a beautiful way. You won't have to struggle connecting to them like you do with some people. It's like, I just don't connect with them. Or, it's like we knew each other from lives gone by. We trust all of that. And it's the same with our guides. We're going to pick guides. They're going to pick us where we understand each other. And we don't really have to work at understanding what they're saying. We have to learn how to connect to them for sure.
Right.
But once we get that connection and we trust it, then immediately we should understand what they're trying to tell us.
Absolutely. I'm not saying they don't annoy me with some of their information sometimes.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, I'm going to self-promote here for a minute. My new book is out on Amazon, and actually I'm going to get my copies this afternoon.
Congratulations, Christy.
Yeah, thank you. And after every book, because this is my 6th book, after every book, I'm like, I am never writing another book. This is too hard. Well, while I'm editing this book, ideas are coming through for my guides for the next book. And I'm like, could you give me 5 minutes, please? Just 5 minutes before the next book starts. But they're like, get on it. It's got to get done.
No, it's like you're on the roll. If you stop, then, it's easier. Just keep you going.
Yeah.
It's such a labor of love. I put the finishing touches on one of my book the other day. It's not as far along as Christie's. It is not. I don't even know what the artwork on the front is going to be. I have a working title, but no solid title. But it has been out with people reading it, and there's such a labor of love.
Yes. And with the emphasis on labor.
So what is the name of this book, Christy?
It is actually 3rd in the Ramadir series. So Jeff is still with us. Yeah, it's Messages from Ramadir, A Collective Hope for Humanity, Book 3. So of the Ramadir series, the first one was me asking questions that I thought other people would want to know the answers to. Second book, I had 2 years of live events where I collected all the questions that people asked in the live events. And this third one, I did a series of Facebook and YouTube online events. And so they're questions from around the world.
Very good.
Yeah. Tell us, what's yours? Tell us a little bit about yours.
Mine is about, so the easiest word, but I'm not sure I'm going to use this word in the title because I'm not sure how marketable it is about sovereignty. How do we walk in a path that is in alignment with our soul? How do we understand when we're making choices that are incongruent with who we are? And as women, I know it's really meant for, my husband's reading it and he definitely sees himself in it, but the words and that I chose are more geared towards females and how we give our power away little by little. Mm-hmm. And it starts young by trying to please people, by trying to do all the things, how a lot of us are about performance. We think that we are going to, find love by performing for other people. And then how do we unwind that and really start living an authentic life, one that is aligned with our own soul's path? Not Christy Peterson's path, not Christy Godwin's path, but your path, because it's going to be different.
Yes. And you need to be okay with that. that you are different. You came here to be different. So quit trying to be like everybody else. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't contrast yourself with others. You are here and you came here to be different, and honor that.
You know, I had a whole conversation with this young gentleman yesterday on that, and he kept wanting me to, can't you do that psychic surgery thing and make me not blah, blah, blah?
Sorry.
Right? And so, no, nor do I want to. And so he just felt so different. I said, how about we show you how to navigate this planet in a way that honors who you are instead of trying to change who you are to please planet.
Yes.
So that's what my book is about.
I love
Honoring who you are
Mhm.
and navigating this world to honor that, not to honor planet.
Yes.
Gaia, Mother Earth wants you to be who you were created to be.
And from the minute we're conceived, the programming, the conditioning starts. And it's like no wonder people lose who they are.
It was
Because
about those biases we were just talking about.
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
people
Oh, I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. Well, let me pick a title.
Yeah, I'll work on that for you.
Well, I have sent it out to several people to read. It's just a very rough Word document. And at the top, I have like 5 different things. And I tell them, those are my working titles. Just ignore them unless you have an opinion. And then please tell me.
Okay, Gretchen, my goal every day is to serve God and stay on my path. Laugh out loud. Some days being human gets in the way. Isn't that the
It
truth?
really does. It really does.
Yeah, being human's hard.
It's very hard.
But when I want to ask you about this, Gretchen, serving God, because you are a fragment of God. We all are. Everybody has a piece of divinity in them because we all come from God source. So I question serving God unless it's in the context of really serving yourself and your path and your individuality and your purpose, the evolution of your soul. Serve that as your goal as well. And that will help you stay on your path and achieve what you came here to achieve, experience what you came here to experience.
I talk about that in my book of that. You start by serving yourself, and people think that that is self-centered. And can you do it in a self-centered, narcissistic way? Of course.
Yeah.
But that is not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about of love.
Yes. Be here to be
Yeah.
who you came here to be and evolve in a way that you chose in this particular lifetime.
Be in the world, not of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That is
All right. Our next question is, what is the astral plane and can we travel there consciously? You go ahead and go first on this one.
Yes, you can. Just takes practice. People are more used to so the astral plane is basically the ethers. There are several different levels of, for me, the astral plane is everywhere. And I have hit so many levels of it. Like people think about it just being your past loved ones. That's only a small portion of it. There is angels, there's guides, there's ascended masters. All those are on different vibrations. Then you have where you can travel to other planets. So the astral plane to me is just like a super highway to get to other vibrations, other destinations that you want to go to. You can do it consciously. People are more used to doing it at sleep, at night when they sleep or when they're in deep meditation. But when you're a trained psychic medium, so like last night, I did the Divine Collective. I was in several different astral locations. I channeled some past relatives. I channeled Magdalene, Mary Magdalene, and then I channeled someone's guide. So it's just about learning. I always like to tell people, just talking to the spirit world is about learning the language of spirit, and that is one thing. It's like learning a different language, and it's very easy once you get the hang of it. And then you take that language of spirit and turn your radio dial to where you want to be. You take the same language Do you want to talk to past relatives? Do you want to talk to angels? Do you want to talk to Jesus? Do you want to talk to someone, a different ascended master? And you just kind of turn your dial to where you want it to be. And it's about recognizing the feel of those different vibrations so you know where you are.
Yeah, and I think sometimes humans can make things more difficult than they need to be, but they also no, not
We
really.
would never, Christy.
And they can also, it's either black or white. And so people will say, well, is this person going to heaven? And I said, of course, we all go to heaven. And then they get the confused look on their face. It's like, well, how can Hitler be in heaven and Jesus is in heaven? I mean, what do they have in common? And exactly what you said, it's different levels of vibration. So, yes, there is heaven, but there are different levels depending on the evolution of your soul, where you're at in that experience, and how you're vibrating and working within that. So it isn't as simple. It is simple that there are additional layers, but there are more nuances to it than just heaven, just hell, just this, just that. And it's so hard to explain because sometimes as human beings we don't have the capacity to completely understand. And in was it the first Ramadir book, I told him, I said, I can't wait to get to the transition to the other side so I have all the answers, because you're missing the point. Until you have experienced everything that has ever been or ever will be, you won't understand it all. You won't have complete knowledge. And I was like, oh man, you just added another layer to this.
Also, there's the imposter syndrome where we feel like, I have so many people that will be shocked the first time I teach them how to contact Jesus collective energy or an angel, because they're like, who am I? Who are you not to be able to do that?
Yeah.
I was working with someone the other day, and she's worked with me for a long time. And so I said something about fairy energy around her. And you could tell I said, okay, hit me and hit my fairies, because I had some fairies around me. So she did that. She got in my energy. She was explaining these fairies around me and said what they looked like, the whole thing. And it's like, okay, now let's look at yours. What? Yes. And I knew that if I had her go straight to her, she would be like, who am I? I can't have those around me. But once I opened her mind up to the energy of fairies, then she could feel them around her.
Yay.
Like, it's perfectly, people think it's, oh yeah, Christy, yeah, she's got those angels around her and those fairies, da, 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 da. But no, not me. Yes, you. Yes, everyone.
And again, humans, they build this hierarchy. And I've had people, when I'm introducing them or they're meeting their guides, well, I don't want to bug them. I'm like, it's their job. And when they guide you, you are also helping their soul evolve.
Yes.
Just because they're not in human form doesn't mean their soul isn't evolving. And
Yeah.
so that's another part of my mission on this planet, is to get rid of spiritual hierarchy, human hierarchy. One person isn't better than another. They might have different skill sets, but
Yes.
one person isn't better than another. And I think we need to really understand that not only are your guides, your angels helping you, you're helping them too.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Gretchen, yes, staying close to your true self. Yes, making decisions based on your gifts and talents. Excellent.
Yeah.
Love that. Thanks, Gretchen. Okay, another question. How do spirits communicate differently than angels or higher beings? Go ahead, Christy.
They don't. Okay, so when I was talking about
Next question.
right, the language of spirit, it's about learning the language of spirit, which comes through your clairs. You have clairvoyance, which is clear vision, pictures, symbols, that kind of thing. Claircognizance, clear knowing. You can just get information. You just know things. Clairaudience, you can do it through channeling, or you can kind of hear in your head. Clairsentience, which is clear feeling. Clairalience, which is where you can smell things. And then there's a bunch of other clairs, but those are the main ones that we use. Once you learn those clairs, then that's when I was talking. You just turn them to whichever level you're hitting. That's the way your angels are going to get information to you. That's the way your your guides are going to get, your grandfather, they're all going to use that language of spirit to get to you. Also, angel numbers. Can angel numbers come from angels? Yes. Can they come from your grandmother? Yes. Can your guide make the light flicker? Absolutely. Can your, past mom make your lights flicker? Absolutely. It's so the easiest way to discern this, I would say, is when you recognize you're getting something from spirit, whether it's an angel number, lights flickering, a cardinal. What is the first thing that pops into your head after you hear or see that? Did you instantly think of an angel? Or did you instantly think of your mom who's transitioned? What's the first thing you thought of?
And trust that that's who's connecting. I had a
Yes.
really interesting experience last week because I'm strongly clairvoyant and I use all of my clairs, but that's my number one is clairvoyance with pictures. And I was doing a Zoom session with a gentleman and he said, well, what do my angels have to say to me? And all of a sudden I started hearing bing, 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 and they were communicating to me in tones. I thought, well, this is interesting. How do I translate that? But along with those tones, I didn't get pictures, but I got the knowing. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, this is what they're trying to say to him. So that was a new one for me because usually it all comes through pictures or sounds in my head. And this was very different to hear bing, 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 and then be able to translate that for this gentleman. And it made perfect sense to him because I said, and they're asking me, do your ears ring? He goes, oh, they've been ringing like crazy. I said, they're doing tones to you as well.
yeah,
So when you get those tones, sit with it and say, what are you trying to tell me? And they will give you messages.
absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. So
I
a
think
little,
do we have time for one more? I think we have time for one more.
okay. What does it mean when you repeatedly see the same numbers or symbols everywhere?
Well, just what Christy was talking about, or I was talking about. It's according to, there's certain numbers and symbols that tend to have like more messages to them. Like two is typically a number of duality. You're weighing different things. You have two options, or you need to choose from your options. Ones to me are more high vibrational. They are assigned for me. Now, this is for me, and I want everyone to be clear on this. This is for me because this is how my team has decided to communicate with me. Typically, when I see ones, that's my angels. However, the other day, my mother did send me some ones. And how do I know it wasn't my angels? Is because I saw it and I thought, oh, it's my angels. And then I heard, no, it's your mother. Oh, yeah, that does have mom energy around it. And then if you see something like, if you see someone's birthday over and over, that's them saying that they're around you. Typically, if you see numbers that are in sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, you see how it kind of pulls you 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a sign you're on the right path. So think about the information that you're getting around those numbers and the ones that you're seeing more often. Like, is it threes? Is it fours?
And 555 is always really interesting to me because that's always a sign about rethink something. Think about something in a little bit different way.
Mhm.
And same thing with 666. People, oh, the sign of the devil. And like, no, it really isn't. It's again kind of rethink there. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I just said something wrong. 666 is think about things in a different
Yes.
way. 555 is change is ready to happen for you. So sorry, I got a little.
No, sixes are definitely a number of creativity for me. When I see those, I know you're supposed to, okay, think outside the box. What is coming? Fives, the same as what Christy said. There's something, change is coming. There are a number of transformation. Something's coming. You're about to transform. Put your seatbelt on. Let's go.
Yeah. And 666, rethink.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be living in the negative. It's like, oh, that's not going to work out for me. Oh, that's never going to happen. And you might see 666, and it's like, rethink that because absolutely the best can be waiting for you to get out of your own way.
Eights are a number of strength to me. So either inner strength, remember who you are. I get that a lot when I see eights. Remember that you are at this point in your life because you are a strong spiritual being. And you will continue to be a strong spiritual being. Sit with that. You have eternal and infinite strength within you.
Yes.
All right, we are about 5 minutes out. So does anyone have any last minute questions for us? If you want to contact Christy or I directly, you can definitely go to our website, Christy Godwin Psychic Medium, ChristyPeterson.com. You can email us. There are, she sees the clock every day at 5:55. I love that. Isn't that funny how you'll be like, why am I? Oh, it's 5:55 again. That's why I'm looking at the clock.
Change is coming.
I was
Buckle in.
going to say transformation is coming your way. And I feel like it's a positive transformation. So focus on that. Christy and I both offer a lot of different things on our websites. I know that we haven't done anything. Christy and I have done several events together, and I know we haven't done one in a while. I think maybe we need to start looking into that.
Yeah, I think we need to get one on the calendar for sure.
All right. I want to thank everyone for joining us. We will see y'all on the second Tuesday of next month also. Thank y'all.
Thank you all.